Hello, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. I want to start today with a premise that might sound a little abstract at first.
Okay.
But, stick with me on this one. I was thinking about archaeology this morning. And usually when we hear that word, we think of, like, Indiana Jones, right?
Yeah.
Or digging up pots and bones in the dirt.
Like the classic image.
But the more I read, the more I realize we're walking through an active archaeological site every single day. We're speaking it.
That is a fantastic way to frame it. Language it's essentially a living museum that we carry around in our mouths.
Exactly. We toss words around like loose change, just functional tools to buy coffee, send a text, get through a meeting. But if you actually stop and look at them, really look at them under the microscope, you find these incredible layers.
Yeah.
You find skeletons, you find flowing rivers, you find actual physical violence hidden inside the syllables.
And that isn't just being poetic. Words carry the DNA of their history. When you use a specific word, you're often invoking a metaphor that is, 2,000 years old?
Whether you realize it or not.
And usually, knowing that history changes how you use the word, it moves you from just talking to actually communicating with, precision.
And that is our mission for this deep dive. We are not trying to read the whole dictionary today.
No, thankfully.
We're focusing on 5 specific words. They all just happen to start with the letter A. We've got affix, affluence, affront, affliction, and agape.
A good list.
And to do this, we're looking at the archives of the Merriam-Webster dictionary, their definitions, their usage notes, and specifically their etymologies.
And of course, their synonym choosers, which are my absolute favorite part of the source material.
Oh, me too.
It's where the dictionary stops being just a list and starts being a guide on how to think critically about what you're saying.
So let's set the stage. These words are not obscure. You've probably heard or used most of them this week. But the definitions are deceptive.
Seems simple.
But they're actually quite complex.
Right. We want to get to the bottom of why we use these specific words. Yeah. Why one and not another?
Let's jump in with the first one. Affix. Now, be honest. When I say affix, what comes to mind? For me, it's purely bureaucratic. Please affix your signature here.
It feels stiff, doesn't it?
It feels like something a lawyer says.
It does feel very formal. But if we strip away that corporate vibe and look at the physicality of the definition, it's much more visceral.
How so?
Well, Merriam-Webster defines the verb affix primarily as to attach physically. So, think of affixing a stamp to a letter.
Okay.
But it also means to impress, like affixing a seal in hot wax.
Okay, so sticking something on or pressing something in. But here's my question. Why do we need a special word for that? Why not just say stick or put or glue?
That is the million-dollar question, and this is where the synonym chooser comes in. English has a massive toolkit for putting things together, but each tool has a different weight.
Right.
The dictionary contrasts affix with 3 other common words: fasten, fix, and attach.
Okay, let's break those down because I feel like I use them interchangeably and maybe I shouldn't.
Well, let's look at fasten. When you fasten something, it implies distinct parts are being secured. You fasten a seatbelt.
Or reins to a post.
Exactly. It implies tying, locking, buttoning. It feels like a safety measure. It's about security.
Okay. And fix?
Fix is much more aggressive. It implies driving something in or embedding it, like fixing a stake in the ground.
Oh, I see.
It suggests permanence and stability. If you fix something in place, you do not want it to move.
And what about attach? That one seems softer.
Attach is softer. It's about connecting or uniting, but often without the two things losing their identity. You attach a document to an email.
Or a trailer to a car.
Right. They're joined, but they're still separate entities.
So where does affix land in this spectrum? Is it aggressive like fix or gentle like attach?
It's actually about dominance, about imposition. Affix specifically implies imposing one thing on another.
Imposing? That's a strong word for just gluing something.
It is, but think about the examples provided. Her hair was styled in braids, affixed into an intricate updo. You aren't just connecting them, you are imposing the braids onto the style, or affixing the base to a stair rail. It's about adding something to a surface explicitly.
So it's not a merger of equals, it's one thing being placed onto another thing. Deliberately.
Precisely. And the etymology, it backs this up perfectly. It comes from the Latin figure.
Okay.
That's a combination of ad meaning to or towards, and figure, which means to drive in or insert.
To drive in. That definitely has more punch than just signing your name.
It does. When you affix a signature, historically, you are driving your identity onto that document. It gives the action a lot more weight.
You're making a mark. imposing your will on the paper.
Exactly.
Now, we can't talk about ethics without briefly mentioning the grammar nerds in the audience, because ethics is also a noun.
Right. If you love linguistics, this is your bread and butter. In grammar, an affix is a bound form attached to a word. It's the Lego block of language.
Like the ants in attendance.
Exactly. You can't just walk around saying ants. It means nothing on its own.
Right.
It has to be affixed driven into the word attend to create meaning. It's that same concept of imposition. You're imposing a modifier onto a root to change its function.
I love that. It makes language feel so mechanical, like we're building engines out of parts.
We are. We are constantly affixing parts to build meaning.
Okay, so we've established that affix is about driving things in, stability, and imposition. Let's pivot to our next word. This one takes us from the solid ground of fixing things to something much more fluid. The word is affluence.
Affluence. This is a word that carries a lot of cultural baggage.
It really does. Usually when we hear affluence, we just think of the result. We think of high society, luxury cars, big houses, the country club.
End state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The definition is abundance of property or wealth.
Right. Rose from poverty to affluence. It's the standard metric of success in the modern world.
But the source material points out something I had never considered. If you look at the history, affluence isn't about the pile of gold. It's about how the gold got there.
It paints a much wetter picture, doesn't it?
Wetter is a weird way to describe money, but go on.
Well, look at the root. Affluence comes from the Latin affluere, which literally means to flow abundantly.
To flow.
Yes. Think about the word fluid or flux. They all share that root. So technically, an affluent person is someone towards whom riches are flowing. It's a flood.
Wow.
The dictionary defines it as an abundant flow or supply, or profusion. It's an influx.
This changes the visualization completely. We tend to think of wealth as a fortress, static, solid, unmoving. But affluence suggests it's a current, it moves.
And that linguistic history explains so much of our financial terminology. Why do we talk about liquid assets?
Or cash flow.
Cash flow. Why do we say assets are frozen? It's all hydrology. We're talking about water because the word affluence itself is a water metaphor.
That's fascinating. It really frames the economy as an ecosystem of currents. But the sources didn't just stick to money. They had this really interesting literary example from Charlotte Bronte. And she definitely was not talking about a bank account.
No, she was not. She wrote about an affluence of flesh.
An affluence of flesh. That sounds, well, is that a compliment? It feels very heavy.
In her context, it meant a wealth of muscle, or simply significant size. But because of that flowing root we just discussed, you picture the physicality differently.
It's not just being big.
No, it's an abundance that spills over. It's a profusion of body.
It sounds overwhelming, like there's too much of it to be contained in one space.
Exactly. And that is the core of affluence. It's about volume and movement. Too much to stop.
Speaking of movement, there was a note in the source material about the irony of modern affluence, specifically regarding American suburbs.
I thought this was a brilliant observation by the dictionary editors.
It is a great sociological catch. The dictionary notes that today, affluent residents often live in the suburbs but work in the city, so they earn their money in the metro area.
Right, the jobs are downtown. That's where the commerce happens.
But they take that money, they go home, and they pay taxes and spend money in the suburbs.
So the money literally flows out of the city.
Correct. The wealth of the metropolitan area flows in one direction out. So the word affluence in that context is describing the literal movement of capital.
Just like a river delta graining the continent.
That is wild. I will never look at a wealthy neighborhood the same way again. I'm just going to see a reservoir where the river ended up.
And it really forces you to ask, where is the source? If there is an outflow, there has to be an inflow somewhere else.
Okay, let's move from the pleasant flow of riches to something a bit more confrontational. Our next word is affront. A-F-F-R-O-N-T.
This is a heavy one. It's a word that feels like it has teeth.
Yeah. Ideally, we know it means an insult. But looking at the dictionary, it's not just any insult. It's defined as to insult especially to the face, or to face in defiance.
That face part is crucial here.
It's not gossip.
No, it's not talking behind someone's back.
And here is where the etymology absolutely blew my mind. I think this is my favorite fact of the episode. Where does affront come from?
It originates from the Anglo-French affronter, which means to defy. But if you go back to the Latin, frons means forehead.
Forehead.
So the literal meaning, it means to strike on the forehead or to slap on the face.
The slap to the face.
A literal smack on the forehead. So when you affront someone, historically, you aren't just saying something mean. You are metaphorically or literally, in the old days, striking them right between the eyes.
That explains why an affront feels so much worse than just a slight. A slight feels like someone ignored you, and an affront feels like an attack.
It is an attack, it's a challenge, and that brings us back to the synonym chooser for this word, because we have a lot of words for hurting people's feelings, and we tend to mix them up.
Right.
Merriam-Webster distinguishes affront from offend, outrage, and insult.
Let's unpack that, because I think people use these interchangeably, and apparently we shouldn't if we want to be precise. How is an affront different from just offending someone?
Well, offend can be, and often is, unintentional. You might violate a sense of propriety without meaning to. You might tell a joke that falls flat.
I hope my remarks didn't offend her.
Exactly. It's about a violation of rules or taste, but not necessarily malice.
Okay, so offense is about the standard or the rule. What about outrage?
Outrage is about volume, intensity. It implies offending someone beyond endurance. You're outraged by a scandalous accusation. It calls forth extreme feelings, almost a loss of control. It's a reaction.
An insult.
Insult is deliberate. It suggests causing humiliation, hurt pride, or shame. It's intended to belittle someone.
So if insult is deliberate, how does affront top that?
Affront specifically implies treating someone with deliberate rudeness or contemptuous indifference to courtesy.
Contemptuous indifference. Wow, that is a stinging phrase.
It really is. It's not just that I hate you, it's that I don't respect you enough to even pretend to be polite.
I am openly defying the respect you're due.
I am facing you down.
The source gives the example. He regarded her rude behavior as a personal affront. It feels like an attack on dignity itself.
It's the difference between someone accidentally bumping into you on the subway, that's an offense, versus someone looking you dead in the eye and shoving you.
One is an accident, the other's a slap on the forehead.
Precisely. The violence is baked right into the word. You can't separate affront from that physical history.
Man, these words are intense today. We've got driving things in with affix, massive floods with affluence, and slapping faces with affront. And sadly, the next word doesn't offer much relief. We're talking about affliction.
Yes, affliction, defined as a cause of persistent pain, distress, or great suffering.
The key word there for me is persistent. This isn't a stub toe.
No, it's a state of being. The etymology comes from the Latin affligere, meaning to afflict, or more vividly, to cast down. In Middle English, it evolved to carry the sense of misery, or maybe even self-inflicted pain and humiliation.
Cast down is a powerful image. It feels like something heavy is sitting on you, pinning you to the floor.
It does, and the examples in the dictionary, they range from the physical to the deeply spiritual. You can have a mysterious affliction, like a chronic disease.
Right.
Or you can feel empathy with someone's affliction, meaning their general state of suffering.
I noticed something interesting in the notes, the rhyme scheme. It's not something we usually look at, but Merriam-Webster lists rhymes like eviction, constriction, contradiction.
They all sound very tight, don't they? Very harsh.
Yeah.
Affliction has a sharpness to the sound. It doesn't roll off the tongue. It catches in the throat. It almost mimics the feeling of constriction.
It really does. But amidst all this heaviness, there was one usage example from Harper's Magazine that I thought was hauntingly beautiful. It said, "Our time's great spiritual affliction is longing without an object."
That is a profound sentence. Longing without an object.
It elevates the word, doesn't it?
Completely. An affliction isn't just a broken leg. It's a condition that weighs on the soul. That quote suggests that our current suffering is this desire for something, meaning connection, purpose, but we can't even name what it is.
It's a floating anxiety.
Exactly. And that fits the persistent distress definition perfectly. It's a pain that you can't just take a pill for. It's the feeling of being cast down by the weight of modern life.
It's heavy stuff. So we've gone through some pain here, but our final word, our final word is a bit of shapeshifter. It might be the most confusing one on the list. It's agape.
Or is it agape?
Exactly. This is the twist. We're looking at one spelling A-G-A-P-E, but it represents two completely different identities, different pronunciations, totally different meanings.
This is a classic example of a homograph, and it's why English is an absolute nightmare for learners.
So let's look at identity number one, pronounced Agape.
Gape. This is the adjective or adverb. It means wide open or gaping.
Right. Like mouths agape?
It usually implies a state of wonder or surprise. The source gives the example. Children, mouths agape, waiting for Santa.
I love that image. It's pure astonishment. The muscles have failed. The jaw has physically dropped.
And the etymology is pretty straightforward. It's the prefix a plus gape, literally being in a state of gaping. It's a very physical, bodily description.
But then we have identity number 2, same spelling, but pronounced G-A-H-Pay.
G-A-H-Pay. This is a noun, and it means brotherly love.
Talk about a shift. We went from a slack jaw to high theology.
It comes from the Greek agape, and it refers to a very specific kind of love. The Greeks were precise about this. They had eros for romantic love, philia for friendship.
Right.
But agape, that was charitable, non-sexual, communal love.
The source mentions it also refers to a love feast.
Yes, in the early Christian church, the agape was a communal meal. It was a way of solidifying that community bond.
So on one hand, you have a physical description of a slack-jawed face, O-G-A-P, and on the other, you have this deep theological concept of human connection, G-A-H-Pay.
And they look exactly the same on the page. You cannot know which one it is without the context.
It's funny because if you put them together, they almost tell a story. You stand agape with your mouth open in the presence of agape universal love.
That is a poetic way to put it.
I'm trying. But seriously, is there any etymological connection? Or is it just a coincidence?
It appears to be a coincidence of evolution, but the etymology for the love version is fascinating on its own. It possibly comes from a base meaning to protect greatly or welcome warmly.
To protect greatly. That feels very different from the slap on the forehead of affront.
Completely opposite. One is an attack on the face, the other is a warm welcome. One is defiance, the other is acceptance.
And yet they are both just words starting with A that we might scroll past in a dictionary.
It just shows the range of human experience that language has to cover. We need words for hitting people, and we need words for holding people together.
And words for simply staring in wonder. So we have covered a lot of ground today. Let's do a quick recap of our A list to see how they fit together.
Sure. We started with the mechanical precision of FX. We learned it's not just sticking things together. It's about driving one thing onto another imposing order.
Then we rode the river of affluence. We realized that wealth isn't a static pile of gold. It's a flow, an influx, a current that can wash in or wash out of a city.
Then we faced the violence of the affront. We learned that true rudeness is a metaphorical slap in the face, a deliberate act of contemptuous indifference.
We felt the weight of affliction, that casting down or persistent distress that creates a longing without an object.
And finally, we ended with the duality of agape, both the wide open mouth of wonder and the deep, protective, brotherly love.
It really supports your point from the beginning. These aren't just definitions, they are stories. They are micro-histories.
They are, and it highlights that English is a borrower language. Look at what we touched on today: Latin, Anglo-French, Middle English, Greek.
Or thieves, really.
We take these concepts from other cultures and times to create very specific shades of meaning.
It's true. We are building a language out of spare parts from history.
And that is what makes it so rich. When you choose the right word, when you choose affront instead of insult or affix instead of stick, you are tapping into that history.
You're adding resolution to your thoughts.
And that's the goal, right? To see the world in higher definition.
Exactly. So here is a thought for you to take with you today. It's a little homework assignment from us. Next time you drive through a fancy, high-end neighborhood and you think, wow, look at the affluence, I want you to pause. Don't just see the big houses and the manicured lawns.
Right. Don't look at the static picture.
Ask yourself, where is the river flowing? Is this wealth an influx? Or is it a delta where resources have settled? And more importantly,
what is the source?
Exactly. If it's flowing here, where did it flow from?
A question worth asking.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.